Hello everyone, my name is Jhanvi and I'm currently a senior at Friends Academy High School in Locust Valley, New York. Welcome back to Fish and Water, a podcast series where we dive into the often overlooked depths of social mobility, examining how students navigate systemic challenges and what factors can truly make a difference in their lives. Today we'll be hearing from a former student of the Earn and Learn program, an initiative that provides students from underserved backgrounds with direction, confidence, and a community to grow in. But specifically, what actually creates change in a student's life? How can certain experiences lift someone beyond the obstacles they face? And most importantly, how do we foster these factors into our own schools and communities? To help us answer these questions, we'll hear the story of Bernandi, a former student who found her way to success despite difficult odds. Growing up in an immigrant household, Bernandi felt the weight of her family's hopes. Her parents, who had come to the United States from Haiti, believed in the promise of education, but they didn't have the inside knowledge of the American school system to navigate it confidently. It was like I had to be my own mentor, she shared. And that's a situation many young people face, navigating a complex system without guidance. So what kinds of support can truly make a difference for students in situations like this? One of the factors Bernandi credits for her success is the mentorship she received from Mr. Roseman. He was more than just a mentor. He was someone who took the time to listen to her concerns, offer advice, and ask questions that made her think. Think about it. How often do young people get a chance to discuss what's truly important to them with someone who's already walked the path they're on? Having Mr. Roseman as a mentor made Bernandi feel less alone in facing big life decisions and gave her tools to handle challenges with resilience. When we consider social mobility, mentorship isn't just helpful, it can be a game changer, building a foundation of self-belief that follows students throughout their lives. Another essential piece in her journey was learning how to think critically. You might wonder, why is critical thinking such a big deal? Bernandi explains how learning to think for herself helped her make sense of the world that often felt chaotic.
Like critical thinking, like, oh, this is like a skill you should work on from the time that you're born. But truthfully, it is a skill that you are developing from the time you learn how to just even acknowledge your surroundings, right? Exactly. Like as soon as you're met with an obstacle, you're immediately thinking critically about how to get this obstacle out of your way.
Yes.
But like it's never really like brought into our peripheral as like a skill that we're
to learn,
actively developing. Yeah. And so I think that's one of the main values, like the goal value of programs like this, whether it be Earn and Learn or I had, was just like the opportunity to like in a very safe space to discuss something that like maybe was important to us, that was critical to us or personal, but then in a way that allowed for us to like really hone in on that critical thinking ability of, am I even thinking about this the right way?
Of course. And isn't that what we all need? The ability to see options and evaluate choices for ourselves? This skill goes beyond any single school subject. It's a way of looking at the world that empowers students to break free from limitations, explore their options, and make informed decisions. But we can't talk about social mobility without mentioning another major factor: exposure to opportunity. Imagine navigating a career path without even having seen someone in that profession who looks like you or shares your background. For Bernandi, exposure came in the form of internships and job shadowing, experiences that allowed her to get a real feel for different fields. For example, she talked about interning at a chiropractor's office and later at a pharmacy, experiences that opened her eyes to careers she hadn't even considered before. Eventually, she realized she had a passion for science and going on to study biophysics and biochemistry. So what was the turning point? It was the chance to experience the reality of these fields firsthand, which empowered her to envision a future she hadn't seen as possible. And finally, there's the power of community, arguably one of the most important things that shapes a student's experience. Bernandi describes how through conversations with people from all kinds of backgrounds, she learned to respect different perspectives and understand that everyone's journey is unique. It's easy to see how, today, we often find ourselves in echo chambers, surrounded by people who think just like us. But communities give us the chance to grow beyond our immediate environment. For Bernandi, learning from a diverse group of voices helped her build empathy, tolerance, and a greater sense of purpose. It's this kind of inclusivity that allows students to not just imagine social mobility, but to understand it, learn from others, and find inspiration in their own potential. So what does Bernandi's story tell us about the factors that truly support social mobility? First, we see the essential role of mentorship. An adult or a teacher, someone like Mr. Rosemarin, who believes in the student's potential, can make all the difference and provide all the confidence a student may need to feel like they have the opportunity to reach for the stars and really dream big. Then there's the critical thinking and the ability to make sense of complex choices independently, which gives students a sense of control over their future and their lives, and allow them to make decisions for themselves and think about what they truly want to do. Additionally, exposure to opportunities can open doors and let students see options they might have never even considered before. And finally, an inclusive community offers a place to explore different perspectives, building empathy and community along the way. These factors remind us that social mobility isn't just about hard work. It's about having access to the right tools, people, and experiences, which are things that, unfortunately, many students don't have access to due to systemic barriers prevalent in the American school system. But when these elements do come together, they create real lasting change, breaking down the barriers that too often hold such amazing students back. So thank you for joining me on Fish on Water as we explore the forces that can empower students and shape their own futures. How can we bring these factors into our communities? How can we make sure students don't feel alone in navigating these changes? Because when we build environments that support mentorship, critical thinking, opportunity, and community, we are building a foundation for social mobility that can lift up students and transform lives. Until next time, stay curious and stay compassionate.